Hello, everyone. This is your host, alexbalgood, and this is Leap of Health. And today we have Samantha Dench. She's a licensed esthetician since 2003, so a long time ago. And she pretty much focuses in the skin, but from the gut. Like she looks to try for the root causes of what the skin is telling us, which is super amazing. And we're going to be talking about all that. But before we dive into that topic, tell us a little bit about yourself and about your journey and how you got to this point of being an esthetician and trying to help all these people with their gut and their skin.
Yes. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it for being here. So yeah, I've been a licensed esthetician for over 20 years. And, when I got into this field, it was because I wanted to do makeup. And then it was after being an esthetician that I realized I loved the science of the skin. And, a lot of people or a lot of estheticians actually become estheticians because they've had issues with their skin. I was fortunate enough, I didn't have any issues with acne as a teenager. It wasn't until I went off birth control in my mid-20s to have a family that all of a sudden now I have full-blown acne. And the interesting thing was I was trained and taught how to treat acne. So I was doing all the right products, all the right treatments, and nothing was clearing up my skin. So after I got pregnant with my first and my skin cleared up. So I was just like, oh, hormonal acne. Got it. So eventually I figured my hormones would regulate and, my skin would naturally clear up. Well, after my third was born, I had a lot of baby weight to lose. I was exercising, I was eating right, and I just couldn't drop the baby weight. I had like 10 pounds to go. So a friend of mine suggested I try this 14-day gut cleanse where I eliminate all these inflammatory foods, which I thought, oh, great. I definitely want to lose the baby weight. So I gave it a shot and I did lose the weight. But the most interesting thing was my skin cleared up within like a week. And so it was then that I realized this is why nothing I was doing was working, because my acne was coming from inside my body. So that's kind of how I got into this journey of healing the skin, kind of healing the gut, healing the skin.
Mhm. Yeah, no, it's amazing. And I think we just forget how our biggest organ is our skin, first of all.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then most of the things that come out into our skin, uh, most of the times are because something is happening
Mhm.
inside. In this
Exactly.
case, the gut. So,
Yep.
what are some of the things that you have help some of your clients with the gut, or how does that gut and skin relationship look when they come to you and they're like, I don't know what else to do. I've done all the masks and
Yep.
topical medicine, and I'm still the same.
Yeah. And that's usually when most people come to see me, when they're at that point where they're like, I don't know what else to do, because they've been to the dermatologist. The dermatologist hasn't helped them because medication aggravates the gut. So if your gut's already inflamed and then you take medication for acne, it's just going to make it worse. So that's why medication doesn't always clear the skin. So by that point, usually like I'm not a doctor. I'm only an esthetician. So really my scope of practice is the skin. But I have tons of research, and I also can refer somebody to like a naturopathic doctor or functional medicine doctor. When I know somebody's got like when they have full blown acne, like cystic acne all over their face, that's when I know it's yeast, it's food, it's something coming from inside the body that's causing it to be that severe of a breakout. So, I do what I can. I usually start with like elimination diet, get rid of dairy, get rid of sugar, gluten, soy, like all those inflammatory foods that are gonna, aggravate the gut, that are gonna present itself in the skin.
Hmm. What are some of the things that they come with? I know you just mentioned a very severe case
Yeah.
in this,
Yeah.
but what are some of the other ones that are not as common that
Right.
you're like, no, 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 this also has to do with the gut and not with so much the what we do? Because I think also too, you just mentioned a very important point. When you go to the dermatologist, and I'm talking by experience, they will give you antibiotics. Sorry
Yep.
about that. And that is some of the worst things you can put to your gut.
Exactly.
like and they're giving you antibiotics for a long time. So I give it
Hmm.
to you for like 2 weeks, a month. And so that for everybody that's listening, usually antibiotics they might help, but mostly they just pretty much destroy your gut good bacteria.
Yep, exactly.
So what are some of the things that maybe are not so severe, as you
Hmm.
mentioned, like those acnes with cysts and all those things that I was like, no, I'm picturing all these crazy
Right.
things on the skin.
I know. I
But what
know.
are some of the less severe things that you're like, no, no, this probably has to be with a different root cause, which in this case, the gut.
So when I'm looking at the skin, if I don't see blackheads or a lot of clogged pores, that's when it's telling me it's coming from inside the body. Because typical traditional acne starts with the blackhead, and then eventually the blackhead or the pore gets clogged, it fills with bacteria, and then eventually it causes inflammation. So that's kind of like the traditional acne. And when you buy products or when you see like a dermatologist, typically that's what they're trying to treat, that bacterial acne, because it's like there's an increase of bad bacteria on the skin. And just like our gut, our skin has both good and bad bacteria. So you don't want to get rid of all the bacteria because we need the balance of good and bad to help, detoxify our skin. So when I don't see blackheads and I just see a lot of inflammation, a lot of times I'm like, something's going on inside the body that's causing that. The other thing that we're seeing, now, like when I first got licensed over 20 years ago, we treated teenagers for acne. Now we're treating adults. And a lot of that, it's because of our diet. Like we shouldn't be getting acne as an adult. Like, we kind of get that acne when we're a teenager because we start with the oil production and hormones, and puberty just kind of brings all that on. And so that's why teenagers are more prone to breakouts. But now we're seeing it, from adults like 20s all the way up to like 60, 70. And it's because of the processed foods and the bad diets we have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen older women especially.
Mhm.
Um, I was listening to one of my friends, and she's like, "Well, I'm taking some sort of medicine
Mhm.
because she's also diabetic," and she's like, "And it's making me break up, like
Mhm.
break out of my skin." And I was like, "Really?" And as you said, it's like so crazy how all these things
Mhm.
are really causing a stress on our skin.
Yeah. No, it's amazing how, and most people don't even put the connection together.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that you recommend? I know you did mention you refer people to a different specialist just to like kind of like treat the gut, get that tested, and see exactly what it is. What are
Mhm.
some of the things that you do that not necessarily they have to go to a functional medicine? Because we know they're already stressed out, they have a lot of things in their skin. Things are usually a little bit pricey when it comes to like specialty physicians as functional medicine and estheticians and pretty much holistic doctors.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times just by making those little shifts in their diet, someone can clear up their skin, especially if it's more like breakouts kind of inconsistently in the cheeks or like around the mouth. That's typically the two areas that I see the most of. But like most clients, they're using a lot of acne products. So their skin's really dry, it's dehydrated, it's stripped, it's sensitive. So I will just kind of shift their products around a little bit. Like, for example, a lot of times I will give someone like a cream-based cleanser instead of a gel cleanser, because what most people end up doing, and it's because of social media and influencers, like, or just going to the store, we see like, oh, I have acne, so I'm going to buy all the acne products. Well, this cleanser has salicylic, this toner has salicylic, the serum, the moisturizer. So you're like layering on salicylic and you're drying out the skin, which then creates it to become sensitive and irritated. So I will literally like strip a new client down and just give them like a cream cleanser and a moisturizer and send them home for a month. And that little shift in products that actually hydrate the skin can make such a difference with acne, because I've been doing this such a long time. And when I grew up in the 80s when like Noxzema pads were popular, and it was like everything was like, get rid of the oil's bad. And now we're like, oh wait, the oil's actually good. We need oil. So by hydrating the skin, you're actually normalizing the oil production. So you're not getting as oily either.
Hmm. Yeah, that's very interesting. Because
Yeah.
I know, I mean, I know very little probably about the skin, probably the basics, but I've also seen some people that cleanse their face with
Mhm.
like oils,
Yeah.
literally,
Yep.
whether it's coconut oil or olive oil, and
Mhm.
that's kind of like how they clean their face, which
Right.
I thought it was kind of like odd a little bit because I
Yeah,
just
I
said,
wouldn't do that. Those are both
I
very clogging. I wouldn't use coconut or olive oil, but they do make facial oils to cleanse the skin now, and those actually normalize oil. So
what are some of those? What kind of oils do they have? Those cleansers.
it depends. Some of them are like jojoba or argan. Those are the most popular ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we could safely say not to use olive oil or coconut oil because
Right.
they're too heavy. Are they heavy or
They
what
are.
is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
They
okay.
they basically like suffocate the pores. So it's like putting saran wrap on the face. So they would clog your pores and create blackheads. Even though you're
Oh.
washing them off, they'll still kind of clog up the pores.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the good things to put on our face? Like if we don't have probably maybe don't have like severe acne, but we really here and there we get one and we just want to take care of our skin. What are some of the things that we can use to make it healthier?
Mhm.
That maybe it's like in our kitchen, or maybe we already have it. Or what are some of those things that you're like, you know what, this will be a good investment for you because it's worth it?
Yeah. When someone gets breakouts, I always tell them good old fashioned ice. Because like if you sprain your ankle, you ice it to heal the inflammation. So same thing, like when you feel those underneath the skin, if you ice it, it'll help. I mean, it's still going to come up, but it's going to help with the inflammation.
Okay. Is there any like other things that we can use on our face if we just want to, maybe we don't have acne, but
Yeah.
we want to keep our face healthy?
I mean, those little pimple pads, those spot treatments, those are okay as long as you don't overdo it. Because again, that has a lot of salicylic in there or benzoyl peroxide, and those can actually dry the skin out too much. So you don't want to overdo it. I would say maybe one night of those instead of like every night. And then like there's an oil that I carry at my spa. It's like a bacteria static. So it doesn't kill bacteria, it just controls the amount of good versus bad. And that's like an oil you can put on your skin that actually helps heal the skin. Like when during the pandemic, when I was working and had to wear a mask, I would put that on. And a lot of my clients that had to wear masks all the time, like that was like our favorite product because we would put it on and it was almost like a barrier to prevent
Mhm.
maskne from happening. So
Yeah, you're right. Because a lot of wearing the mask all day long,
yeah.
especially like people that have to be in contact with others.
Mhm.
Yeah, I noticed that they will have like, you
Yep.
know,
Tons
things
of
to their
breakouts.
skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
That was terrible times. I'm glad we don't
Yeah.
have to wear
I
it.
know.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
yes. And so, what are some of the products that you're like, please don't use those. Those are really damaging for your skin. Because as you said, we have things so easy now, right? We just go on Amazon and be like, type acne, and then you'll
Right.
get like a million things that come up. And same thing if we go to CVS or any pharmacy,
Hmm.
go to the acne session and you just kind of grab
Right.
everything that says Max.
Yep. Exactly.
Strange.
Yep.
Max is strange. I want this to get away. No, right? But what are
Yeah.
some of those things that you're like, no, I really don't recommend it to you because really it's gonna be make it worse.
Yeah. I mean, I would say definitely no to the salicylic acid. Unless an esthetician or a doctor recommends it. I don't recommend somebody go and buy that themselves. And this is going to sound terrible, but like Cetaphil, I don't like that brand at all. It's not really a good brand. It doesn't really have good ingredients in it, and it really doesn't do anything for the skin. Um, another thing I don't like when people buy retinols for their face because a lot of times we overdo it and we create that irritation in the skin. You can use a retinol, but that's more for somebody that either has scarring or for aging. And if I do put clients on retinol, but I kind of introduce it to them slowly instead of like just put it on every day and wait until your skin freaks out. Um, and then, like I'm not a fan of like gel or foam cleansers, especially for, older client. When I say older, like I would say somebody in their 30s and up. I don't recommend like gel or foaming cleansers because they're stripping the skin and they're very strong. So that
How
would be,
about go ahead.
go ahead. No, yeah, that was all.
Yeah. So what about those people that you just kind of like don't care and then just use soap? Is that a good
Mm-mm.
thing?
No, no.
Because they already see the soap right there in the restroom and they're
Yeah.
like, I just need to wash this and let's do
Yeah.
it. Let's go.
Yeah, no, that's not good. Soap has a lot of irritating ingredients that actually make up the bar. So it's fine for our body, but not for the face, because the skin on the face is a lot more delicate than the skin on our body.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really you think very special soaps or very
Yeah.
specific things. What are some of those that maybe people can maybe grab
Mhm.
everywhere that you might recommend?
I always recommend a cream cleanser, and I always recommend like an oil cleanser because those are the best. And never ever use any cleanser with like scrubs or exfoliants or anything in it because you shouldn't exfoliate your skin every single day. That's way too much. And that can also like strip and dry the skin.
Yes, that takes me to my next question.
Oh, good.
Scrubs. Like
Yes.
a lot of people now makes their own and they
Ugh.
put all these things and it was funny because I've never seen this. I've never tried it on myself, but I know
Mhm.
like my mom, my great grandma, they've been using sugarcane and lemon. They
Mhm.
don't use it every day, but here and there they'll be like, I will see them. And I
Yeah.
have used that myself and it kind of like feels good. But then I
Mhm.
realized that people use it salt too.
Yeah.
I have never tried it, but I just didn't think it was a good thing to put it
Nope.
in my skin.
No.
What are for everybody that's listening, maybe also men that listens
Mhm.
to our podcast, what is an exfoliate and what's a death to your body? Let's start with that.
Yeah. So our skin naturally exfoliates. We think, oh my gosh, our skin's like dull or we have dry skin, gotta exfoliate, gotta exfoliate. And it's like our skin naturally does that. Now, when we get older and we age, that process does slow down because we call it cell turnover. So every 4 to 6 weeks, new cells are born, they rise up to the surface and they replace the old ones. So every 4 to 6 weeks, your skin is going through a cell cycle where it's replacing itself. So that's basically exfoliation. So we like to force that and make things like happen quicker because I call it attacking the skin. Um, you know, we don't treat like if you give your gut what it needs, it will naturally heal itself. The same thing with our skin. If we stop attacking it and stop giving it all these like harsh, strong products, our skin will naturally heal itself. So if you back off on exfoliation or if you back off on some of these like harsh exfoliants or I meant cleansers or like salicylics, the skin will naturally start to heal itself and kind of rebalance itself, bring it back to where it needs to be. Um, so with like an exfoliant, what it's really supposed to do is kind of help the skin along. So when I say our skin goes through a cell cycle, sometimes those cells get stuck because if you think of a brick wall, our cells are the bricks, and then there's a glue, which is the mortar. That's what holds our cells together. So sometimes when our skin does a turnover, those cells can get stuck and they can sit on top of the skin. And so think of how the leaves pile up on the sidewalk in the fall. Then you get that buildup. And so if you see somebody, especially like older ladies that have that grayish, like dull looking skin, they have
Mm-hmm.
too much buildup on top of their skin. So they need like a nice gentle exfoliation to kind of get that off. And basically what an exfoliant should do is act like a brush. Just brush those leaves off the sidewalk, but leave the brick wall intact. We like
Mm-hmm.
to scrub our face and over exfoliate, and that creates these little micro tears in the skin. And so then moisture can come out, and it just like some of these ingredients that everyone's like, oh, all these ingredients are bad. These ingredients have been used for years. It's just we're breaking down our skin's barrier. So now these products can get into the skin where they never were able to get in before. So that's basically why um, we shouldn't exfoliate that often. I recommend like once a week or every other week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think you're right. We just get carried away and we get one of those super easy exfoliants that sell at the pharmacy on a tube, and you every time you go wash your face, you're like, "Tut, tut, tut, I'm gonna
Yep.
exfoliate a little bit because it feels good because it does
Right.
feels
It does.
like super soft and you're like, yeah, this is really good. But you're right, we're doing probably a lot more damage than helping.
Right. Hmm.
And also too, what I was looking at those that come in a tube, because I know I was telling you what my grandma and my mom did, right? And once in a blue moon, which was like a little bit of whole, organic sugar cane, a little bit of lemon, and just kind of like rub their hands or like their
Hmm.
face or even like in their whole body. But now
Right.
you have all these exfoliants that you buy at the store,
Hmm.
and they contain all this crap.
I know. Yeah.
And I think we forget that every time we put anything on our skin, we're absorbing that.
We don't absorb anything. Our skin actually detoxes. So it's
Oh, okay.
because
How does that
okay,
work?
so think about it. If you sat in a tub of water and our skin absorbed everything, it would blow up like a sponge.
Mm,
So our skin's a protective mechanism. So that's what the pores do. They allow, like, they detox. That's why we have oil and sweat glands, because that's how all the toxins come out of our body. So yeah, our
hmm.
skin's like a protective barrier. It doesn't let anything in. So
So
it's
when
when
we,
we're breaking it down by like over exfoliating or putting too many chemicals or too many like strong even facial treatments, like stuff that like peels and stuff like that, that breaks the skin's barrier down, and then those products can start to kind of seep in.
oh,
Mhm.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And talking about those chemical pills, are those recommended to for people to do? Because I know that I gotta say I'm guilty of that. I did once long time ago, like maybe like 10 years ago, because I had a really bad skin. The lady that I went to, she said it was stress related, which probably was at the time. And she's like, I think you will beneficial of this microderm pill or whatever
Mhm.
it was called. And literally that thing left most of my skin. It was horrible. Like
Yeah.
for weeks, I thought my face was gonna fall off. And
Yeah.
obviously after that, I was like, I'll never do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
What exactly do they do to your face? Those chemical pills.
So they lower the pH. Like our skin has to be at a neutral pH. And what they do is they lower the pH and they force like cells to turn over. So basically they're taking, like I said, our skin's like a brick wall. So they're taking some of those cells of the brick wall off. So the skin has to quickly rejuvenate or like replace itself. So there's some like skin treatments that do that as well, like dermaplaning. That one where you're actually like exfoliating, you're taking like a razor blade to exfoliate the skin. That also
Yes.
stimulates a cell turnover, but that one's not harsh on the skin because you're just getting rid of that surface dead cells and kind of like those vellus hairs on the skin.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Well, those
Yeah.
videos online. That
Mhm.
looks really crazy too with a little knife, and you could
Mhm.
definitely see on that one all
Yeah.
this the I don't know if it's they're taking just the dead skin, but a
Yeah.
lot of it how they're like taking it
Mhm.
out. Oh,
Right.
I've never
Yeah.
okay. So that one actually you recommend better than the actual chemical peel.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
What
And
are
you're getting kind of the same kind of thing, but you're not breaking the barrier.
got it. Does that one hurt? Because it looks kind of
Mm-mm.
painful a
No,
little.
it actually
Really?
feels really good. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that
Yeah.
something that you do too?
I'm trained in it. Yes.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Mhm.
So, what are some of the treatments that you might recommend to your clients? Like, hey, maybe if you don't want to do this once a month, uh, but do it maybe once a year. What are some of those treatments that maybe we should all try to catch here and there in
Yeah.
our lifetimes? Because we do forget a lot about our face.
Yeah. I'm more holistic, so I do a little bit more natural treatments. One of the things I specialize in is microcurrent. So it uses a machine to kind of massage the face. So it's stimulating facial muscles. So I like to tell people it's like a gym workout for your face muscles. So like it's done in a series because just like going to the gym, you can't go one time, lift weights and have like totally toned body. You have to continue to work those, lift those weights to build that muscle. So the same thing with the microcurrent. They have to come in and do a series to kind of get those muscles to lift and tighten. And then it's just come in every month just to maintain it. And then there's another treatment that I do called microchanneling, which creates these little microchannels in the skin. And that allows products to get in. And then it actually helps rebuild our skin's collagen because as we age, we lose collagen. So this treatment is really good to get that collagen stimulated. So it helps with prevent aging and also help with like acne scars.
Mm-hmm. What about the very super popular washa?
I love
Uh,
guasha.
yeah. Do you recommend for people to kind of like go on YouTube or social media and kind of like learn the techniques for
Yeah.
them to do it?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does washa does to our face or to our skin?
Yeah, so it helps increase, it increases muscle tone. It helps with circulation. It moves the lymphatic system. So like if we wake up and we're like really puffy under our eyes, it's because our lymphatic system is sluggish. So guasha helps to kind of move that lymph and depuff the skin. It also helps with aging because like I said, when you're massaging your face, that's why like when you get a facial, we massage your face because it's increasing circulation and it's also helping improve the muscle tone in your skin. So doing guasha, a couple times a week is really good for that.
Mm-hmm.
That helps with aging. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. And what are some of those maybe easy tips that people should do
Mhm.
uh to just keep their skin glowing and not getting acne and kind of like trying to balance their cells pretty much.
Yeah, so I like to recommend a more simple skincare routine. I know this sounds crazy, and most people like don't think of going to an esthetician as a huge expense, but I have some clients that come like 3 to 4 times a year, and as long as they're using the right products, bless you.
Sorry about that.
As long as they're using the right products at home, they're going to get great results. And actually, we can end up saving most people time and money on products because you're not going on Instagram or you're not going on Amazon or to the store going, oh, let me try this product. Let me try that product. Let me try this. And then you end up with all these products at home. We actually can simplify your routine and only give you what you need to keep your skin healthy.
Hmm. So you pretty much recommend to go with someone that it's more of a specialist on this, so they can tell you throw everything away because we
Yep.
don't really, we buy
Yeah.
and buy and buy because we think they're so good, and then we just start collecting all these things that at the end we don't even use
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
What
I
about
mean,
those? Uh-huh.
I was to say, like literally a good routine, like a nice routine for most of my clients that I do is like a cleanser, um, a serum, and then an SPF during the day. And then at night, same thing, cleanser, serum, moisturizer, and then like exfoliation, once a week or every other week. Like that would be a really good skincare routine that can, keep your skin healthy and even prevent aging.
Yes. And so do you also let them know like, hey, you gotta hydrate? Because going back to the gut, what
Yeah.
are some of the tips that you maybe give them to keep them keep on their health their skin glowing? Because if they go back to what they were eating or whatever, it gets a little too complicated.
Yeah, I mean, definitely drinking water. I always recommend clients eat a lot of protein because protein is our amino acids. I know a lot of people think red meat is really bad. I actually eat mostly meat. I've started kind of playing with the carnivore diet, but I feel like we need amino acids and we can really only get those amino acids by eating red meat. So I do talk to clients about that. I know sometimes I get pushback, but I just feel like amino acids are the building blocks for our cell, whether it's our body, whether it's our skin, it's all kind of connected. And I feel like we can't get those amino acids from eating lots of salads. So while salads are fine, I feel like we need those amino acids because it is what we're putting in our body. I always talk about eliminating dairy and gluten is a big one. Sugar is huge for, that actually sugar ages us. Most people don't even realize that sugar it's so bad for our body, and it actually speeds up the aging process. So, just kind of explaining to them how to make little lifestyle shifts to just create a healthier lifestyle. And then your skin does kind of follow suit, because it's that whole inside out approach.
Yeah, for sure. And it's super true. I mean, uh, vegetables and everything are fine, and pretty much a balanced diet. I usually think it's great, but I
Mhm.
feel like the way we eat now, it's not balanced. You're right.
Correct.
People either eat a lot of carbs or
Mhm.
just a lot of vegetables, but they don't balance those vegetables, so they're not getting enough nutrients. And as you mentioned, meat has a lot of amino acids and also has a lot of minerals that are
Yep.
kind of hard to get within all the vegetables. I mean, you
Right.
really have to know what the vegetables are so you can combine them and things like that to get a super amazing balanced diet. I tell to everybody that it's a vegan or vegetarian, it's fine too, if
Mhm.
that's what you like for whatever reason. But definitely, if you're gonna do that, you have to really educate yourself on
Mhm.
how you can eat a lot of the vegetables and
Yeah.
balance your diet to get enough from what you eat. Otherwise, you're just gonna eat a lot of potatoes, a lot of pastas, and all these things that are vegan or vegetarian. But at the end, it's like
Right.
your nutritional levels are not going to be there to
Mhm.
really support, your body, your gut, your skin, especially. And so, yeah, definitely keep that in mind. By all means, you do whatever feels good for you, whoever is listening
Yep.
out there. But
Mhm.
definitely acknowledge that. Acknowledge that by you eating certain type of food or following certain diets, you might be missing certain things that your body needs to
Right.
really heal, to really replenish, to keep on changing and getting better.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. This conversation has been amazing. Is there something else that you would like to let us know? Any other tips or anything like that that will be so beneficial for everybody out there?
I mean, I just want to help women with their skin, or everybody with their skin. And I just feel like, knowing what works for your skin, will make such a difference. Just making those little shifts, whether it's in your lifestyle, whether it's in your skincare, um, that can really make a big impact, because again, that saying, we are what we eat, that really does hold true. So,
Yes. And, I will repeat what she just said.
mhm.
Remember, sugar ages you.
Yes. So does
Sugar,
alcohol.
yeah, because it's a lot of sugar.
Yes.
Eventually
Yeah.
turn into sugar. So
Yes.
just to keep that in mind, because I feel like a lot of people that has diabetes, heart problems, things like that, and they have all these problems with their face, and sometimes they don't understand that all the sugar that we eat really will really age you.
Yeah.
And I feel like nobody wants to get old, nobody wants wrinkles. So I think keeping that
Yes.
key
Hmm.
note in your mind, I think will remind you to be like, oh, maybe I should cut down here and there. So if you
Yep.
don't do it for your gut and you don't do it for anything else because you don't care about anything, but you do care about getting old, that's the
Exactly.
key.
Yep.
That is
Exactly.
the key. Thank
Hmm.
you everyone for being here. Thank you for joining us in this conversation. It was awesome, and it reminded us of a lot of really important things today. If anyone wants to get in contact with you, they want to ask you more questions on how to get their skin going and stuff, where can they find you?
So my website is skindeepil.com. And then my YouTube, or my Facebook and Instagram handles are the same thing, at skindeepil.
Awesome. And I will put that on the show notes for anybody
Okay.
that wants to get in contact with you. Remember, if you want to get in contact with me or you want to know more about my show, remember you can go to alexbalgood.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, pretty much everywhere. And also, my book is out. You can buy it on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. It's called Parents Are Greatest Teachers. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and thank you for everything today. Have an amazing and blessed day, everyone.